Miami is one of the few places on earth where wealthy living isn't just about picking a neighborhood. It's a hierarchy. Two buyers can both say they live in Miami, both spend millions of dollars, and still end up in completely different worlds. The biggest mistake I see, especially with families relocating here, is people shopping at a price point before they understand what level they're actually buying into. In this city, the level you choose dictates your privacy, your access control, your waterfront scarcity, and ultimately, how the asset behaves when you're ready to exit. Today, I'm breaking down the 7 levels of Miami's ultra-wealthy living. We're going from the first tier of true luxury, where the numbers start to separate, all the way up to the controlled access enclaves and legacy compounds that most people will never even see on a public portal. I'm Milton Andrade. I help clients make decision-first moves in Miami. That means that we choose the right neighborhood and risk profile first. Then we find the home. Level 1 is the premium entry luxury, $800,000 to $1.5 million. Level 1 is your first real foothold in Miami luxury scene. This is usually the high-income professional or the family moving down from the Northeast or California who want the Miami dream, but still want the math to make sense at the end of the month. Let's talk about condos versus houses in this level. That's the fork in the road here. You have neighborhoods like Brickell downtown and Edgewater, and North Bay Village and the West Avenue corridor of Miami Beach when it comes to condos. But for single-family homes, we're looking at neighborhoods like Shenandoah, Silver Bluff, maybe Coral Gate. And someone might choose a 2-bedroom condo in Brickell over a smaller house in Silver Bluff, but there's hidden costs like HOA versus maintenance. A house does still require maintenance, but it's not from a third party. And it's all about lifestyle at that point. And with the median price for a house in Miami-Dade at around $660,000, at level 1, you're still playing above the baseline. But you're still in a balanced market. And you have leverage here, especially in the condo market, where inventory is a bit higher. At level 2, we have curated neighborhood luxury. That's about $1.5 million to $3.4 million. And here, this is where Miami stops feeling like a premium purchase and starts feeling intentional. You aren't just buying a nicer kitchen, you're buying neighborhood identity. And at this level, the daily rhythm of your life is really the product. And here we have the big 4, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, The Roads, and Morningside. And why do family love the Grove? It's the canopy and the walkability. And the Gables, we're talking prestige and strict rules that keep values high. And $3.4 million is the official luxury threshold. Level 2 is a runway leading up to that line. And that's where we get to level 3, true luxury, at $3.4 million to $10.4 million. Now here we've crossed the line. This is luxury by the data, not just the vibes. We're talking about the top 10% of the market. This is where the product type, whether it's a trophy condo or scarcity single-family home, become a massive factor in your long-term wealth. And what's a trophy condo? Well, think about high-floor units with full concierge service. I'm talking about penthouses at Brickell Flatiron, Aston Martin residences, the Murano Grand in Sophie. And contrast that with Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, Pinecrest, South Pinecrest, new construction, and North Pinecrest, classics. At this price, you're not just buying a home. You're buying service level and a school district. And now we come to level 4, uber luxury and scarcity assets at $12 million to $30 million. Level 4 is where we cross that $12 million uber luxury living line, the top 1% of the county. Here, you're buying controlled access as a primary product feature. You have entry into these enclaves. It's usually guarded, gated, there's a bridge, or even water between. And here we have homes like in Coral Gables Estates or Tahiti Beach, often non-waterfront, that are starting in high teens. But think Coconut Grove in gated pockets like the Moorings at $10 million to $20 million range. Here, the security posture is the main selling point. And comps in this area are a bit thin because these units don't trade very often. Then we get to level 5, global trophy and membership living, $30 million to $100 million. This is where Miami competes with the most expensive zip codes in the country. Think Fisher Island and Indian Creek, the billionaire bunker. Fisher Island has a median price point of about $9.5 million for older condos, but level 5 buyer is looking at Palazzo della Luna or Palazzo della Sol, where penthouses are trading from $45 to $85 million. And in waterfront for Gables Estates, you're looking at a starting price of $50 million. And all of these places have a cost of admission, like the $350,000 to $500,000 club initiation fee on Fisher Island or Indian Creek. And talking about Indian Creek, this is where we get to level 6, the legacy asset tier of $100 million to $200 million. This is where we get to the 9-figure club, where the land itself is the asset and it's completely irreplaceable. You have the billionaire bunker, aka Indian Creek, and Star Island. You notice Indian Creek Village, we just had a record-breaking $170 million purchase by none other than Mark Zuckerberg in March of 2026. And recently, a $120 million sale on Star Island, with currently $175 million listings now active in Gables Estates. These aren't houses, these are fortresses. And you're gonna have neighbors like Jeff Bezos and Tom Brady. And now we get to level 7, and this is the off-market legacy and network-only assets. Level 7 is an invisible market. Discretion is the only filter. And my role as an advisor is about explaining how these 9-figure deals, like $101 million Coconut Grove compound, often trade before the public even knows they're for sale. At this level, my job is mapping the privacy posture and the exit liquidity for assets that have no real substitute. So there you have it, the 7 levels of Miami. From the professional stepping into Brickell to the billionaire acquiring a fortress on Indian Creek. The rules of the game change at every step. The biggest takeaway I want to leave you with is this: don't just shop for a house. Shop for the level that matches your life and your long-term goals. If you're thinking about making a move, whether you're relocating your family or looking for that next legacy asset, let's talk. I've spent over 2 decades navigating these specific neighborhoods, from the Gables to the Grove and everything in between. Click the link in the description to schedule a call. We'll map out your strategy before you ever stepped foot in a showing. I'm Milton Andrade. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.